absolutely.
We'd love to get
Thank
some
you.
more from the golf industry.
Yeah.
We had someone from the PGA a few months ago, which was great. So all good. All right, Dylan, thank you for being here. I'm going to hand this off to Ernie, and he's going to MC the session. But thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Yeah, pleasure having you here. So I want to give the folks like 2 more minutes to hit the bathroom, get their seventh monster of the day.
Ibuprofen, all of
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah, 800 milligrams fixes everything. Hey, I got shot. Take this pill. Just jam it in the gun hole.
My hair did change. It did. I cut it short. I cut it shorter. I saw that comment there.
Hey,
I've never had a monster. What is it like, a monster? Is it like 8 cups of coffee?
Oh, about, Jody, like, we're going to have to send you some.
I mean,
we'll give you some sugar-free monster.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The only ones I ever grab is like when I'm on a road trip, like across country, I'll grab like a big old sugar-free Red Bull, and that's about it.
I got a road trip in a few hours to Columbus. Do we have anyone from Columbus on?
Ohio
I've been
or
to Columbus. Yeah. Are
Someone
you going to right, Pat?
I don't know.
Buckeye.
You're a Buckeye?
Oh yeah, through and through.
Oh, baby, my son is so excited. He
Yeah,
didn't check. He's gonna be a freshman, but he forgot to check his email last month when they did the email for the student tickets to the game. So they were sold out now. So he's so bummed.
That sucks.
Oh, I'm Columbus for a lot of things, like Columbus Crew soccer there and everything.
That's awesome. They have a big game, I think Saturday. They're playing Texas 1-3.
I just want to bring my boy to the Air Force Museum there. And by my boy, I mean me, and drag him along.
Do take like 2 days to do that, because that Air Force Museum is amazing. We did a lot of exercises down there with the 75th Rangers. So you just walk through that thing, honestly, 2-3 days.
Wow.
There's so much stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, the one I'm looking forward to seeing is the XB-70.
Oh, yeah. The Valkyrie is...
Yeah.
I really wish they would have put that into production.
Yeah, well, they decided to do a photo op with all their aircraft and kind of ended that program.
Yeah, so we're going to put stuff on the Super Sabres, but...
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen those photos, check them out at some point. It's pretty bad. But here we'll get started now. Now we ended that on a depressed crashing note. So, hey, welcome. Today we're joined by Dylan Westmoreland, Director of Client Strategy, Growth and Delivery of Fuse Solutions, and founder and CEO of VetConnect, platform built to connect veterans with career education, entrepreneurial opportunities. He's an Air Force veteran who served as a convoy and response force leader before building a career in operations, supply chain, and exec leadership. He's passionate about process optimization, AI-driven operations, and above all, creating opportunities for veterans to thrive after service. Welcome, man. Did I manage to get it?
Yes, absolutely. You put the nail on the head there. I appreciate y'all having me joining this group here. It's nice to see everybody.
That's awesome. Hey, appreciate you taking some time out of your day to work with us, because I know your schedule is probably somewhat busy, trying to nail down all those things. So again, thank you. But I'll get you started off on the easy one. So from Air Force service to leadership and logistics supply chain, I mean, how'd you get there?
So it's funny because it's one of them things that I always look at it to be kind of a God thing. It's I was, security forces in the Air Force, and then, went through the kind of what y'all are going through as far as the application process, going through multiple different applications, and went to a job that was kind of back in security. And ultimately I rolled into the, into that, position. And I was just like, this is exactly what I left. This isn't what I'm going to do. So ended up leaving there. And I got a notification on Indeed to apply for this job. And wasn't really sure what it was. It looked interesting, but like I said, didn't really know what it was. It was more of a functional manager position. And I applied for it. And the next day, the CEO gave me a call. Jennifer Schomburg is our CEO, and she's an amazing leader, along with Jay Jordan there. So she gives me a call, and we start talking on the phone, and I felt like I kind of bombed the interview, a little bit, because it was a little bit of a phone interview, kind of, but just kind of off the cuff there. So she hung up and told her they'd be back with me, but I called her back because I felt like I didn't do exactly what good enough. So I called her back and I was like, listen, I said, I don't care what it is. I will figure it out and I will excel at it. And that's what kind of, I feel like, landed me my next interview. Now, granted, not, like I said, God thing, not every boss that's going to call you to set up a phone interview is going to be, it's going to happen like that. But I do want to say, I think, being flexible and having that mindset of being able to figure out, anything and then be able to execute it, and knowing that you can execute it and have that confidence, I feel like that can land you any kind of position, in my opinion. So that's kind of how I got into the realm of this position to start out with as a functional manager.
So how long do you think it was before you kind of got comfortable doing that work from zero to hero?
Oh, so I will definitely say when I got here, because you're looking at, when I first got here, it was more of like for our customer, it was more of the packaging materials. So you're looking at the boxes, the labels, the tapes, anything that's supporting that operation to really push product out the door effectively. So, I rolled into this operation not even knowing what that was. So I had to kind of like do a crash course on what logistics was when you're talking about, from the manufacturers, lead times, like minimum order quantities, all these different things, right? So I would say a good solid year of like just, to the ground, really moving forward. And before, like, as I got out of the military, I had finished, I was kind of one of the nerds that kind of like really went for like using my GI Bill and my tuition assistance while I was in the military. So I just finished up a master's degree in forensic psychology because, being a cop, I was like, oh, I'm going to work for the FBI. That's what I want to do. Right.
Makes
but
sense.
When I got out, then I went to my MBA in strategic management, which was like really, like I really wanted to focus on trying to learn business because I knew that business was really what I was going to end up being in. So I feel like from using my real life experiences to applying my, going to my degree program, I feel like that year was really crucial because from the time I started to that year, I finished my MBA program. So I feel like that year was really that crucial year for me.
So what drove you away from the FBI goal to go to business? Was there some like divine moment of like the light came on?
No, I think it was I think really it was a fact of, being in kind of control. Business is one of the things that it's really empowering because you get to feel like you really own that, you know what I mean? So going from that real structured model to the military, from the military to business to where really, I mean, especially with all the new technology coming out, I mean, you can create anything. So, and then also having that platform that my leadership gave me to really run with it and build it, into this program that it is today, I think gave me the motivation to, to go that direction. So I feel like that's what, having that platform to grow kind of led me away from wanting to go to the FBI and be kind of in more of that controlled environment to being in business and taking that a little bit more of a risk, I guess.
Oh, yeah, the risk will end up paying better than the FBI down the road.
Yeah, right.
If you're doing it right, that's for sure. So, I mean, what advice would you give to folks when in, that kind of, I don't know what's next, I'm not sure what to be when I grow up kind of position that most of us are still in?
And I think the biggest thing is knowing that's okay. I think knowing it's okay to not know what you want to do is one of the first steps into growing to be able to find what you want to do. Because, really when you take that on and you understand, like, I feel like more people worry about like, oh, I need to figure this out. I need to, get my life together. I got to get this job. I got to do this, got to do that. Like, no, take a step back, be okay with not knowing what you're going to do. And 9 times out of 10, something's going to come up that leads you into that right direction. So, and don't be afraid to take on risks. Like, just because it's out of your comfort zone. Like, I know when I first got out of the military, my last speech I gave to my troops was get comfortable being uncomfortable. I mean, and that's the key. I feel like when when you get comfortable in them tight situations, being able to present, being in front of people, being able to talk to people, communicate and build them relationships, that's when the true growth comes, and you can accomplish anything.
Makes sense. So, coming out not knowing a dang old thing
No.
about what you were doing, I gotta imagine you had some mentors there to help you, and probably you probably dealt with some imposter syndrome there too.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel like the mentorship was there, and it was more towards that leadership and taking that accountability to own it. But imposter syndrome was real. I mean, it is a real thing, guys and girls. It's something that's gonna like kind of get in your way a little bit, but you got to just kind of push that out of the way, get that out of the way, just at the back of your head, right? And then just push forward. I think really building relationships and having an open communications platform, because if y'all have been in the military, there's been some type of structure there to where y'all either built checklists or you built project plans and you didn't realize it, or these different things, right? Like you need to look back to your training that you've received, because at some point in time in business or anything, you have dealt with say supply chain, or you've dealt with project management, or you've done with how to execute tasks. Like you need to take that and then really actualize what your military training was, and then form it into a business setting, because you have the ability of that. You just got to look at it from a different point of view.
That makes sense. So, I mean, like in your case, do you feel like it was because you're a veteran and, deploying and how to put all the crap in mobility? Do you feel like you had some sort of innate advantage with logistics?
I think no, not necessarily. Not with not with the logistics that we was doing, but understanding, I think, the bigger picture, being able to look like doing nuclear, um, you know, being able to look at things from a broader perspective. I think from doing nuclear convoys to seeing what the bigger picture was, that helped me. That might have had an advantage, but I think just really, I think the first thing I tell people when they come in as a program manager for me is, one, understand your boss and what the need is. Two, understand your job. So really getting into the weeds of your job when you're first getting into that is going to be crucial, because you're going to understand every aspect, because you need to see that bigger picture of where it plays, where it, plays a role in the bigger picture of the company or your customer.
I mean, well, yeah, just seeing the way those convoys were assembled, to seeing all the different moving parts, I can definitely see where, you would draw some parallels there. Like, hey, we've got to get nuke A to point B. Here's all the things that have to go together.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a while, you see those parallels?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because everything, it's funny how business works, but the military, if you look at it, is one big business. I mean, in a way, I mean, it's one of them things that while we're fulfilling a role and completing a task that ultimately is going to that bigger mission, right? And then once you get out of and get into corporate or get into a small company, it's the same thing, to where you're putting, like you said, them parallels together to where it's it's moving down to accomplish that goal, whether it be for you, whether it be for a customer, whether it be for a certain stakeholder in a project, all these different things like that. Like all of it's moving in the same direction as like a military business, like to have that objective.
Yeah, except we blow money up instead.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have a lot more money to spend.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that part. So, I mean, what skills do you think translated the best as you went into ops and program management? What skills do you say, man, I'm glad my flight chief taught me that, or I'm glad the commander put my nose to the grindstone on that?
I think being able to take critical feedback, I think, is one of the biggest things, and understanding that, being able to listen to your leaders and not get upset or get sidetracked, or let it bring you back. Like, listen to your leaders, take in the knowledge, and don't always think you know everything. One of the biggest things I've seen in projects, right? Like I've seen where people have messed up is like, say, I'm a project manager, right? Like I'm running a project. But then you have, your facilities guys, your operations guys, you have all these different stakeholders that's involved in that. Well, knowing that you're not the electrical expert, that's why you have electricians, is key, right? So knowing your role and knowing that, hey, even if you're overseeing the program, knowing that you're not the expert in everything is key. I think there was I think it was, I don't know, it was an officer. I was just talking about this today. There's an officer, I think, that was at West Point, and he took a test, and it was one of the questions was like he needed to build a bridge. Well, he got done with the test like extremely fast, and everybody else is working hours on it, before the test ended. And anyways, I think that he was the first one done, ended up having the best answer because he knew his role. Basically, the question was like, build me a bridge. I need a bridge from point A to point B, and basically what he did was, he wrote down on his answer like, Sergeant, build me a bridge. That was ultimately his answer. So, yeah,
he Kobayashi Maru'd it.
Yeah, he knew what his role was, and he knew that he was not the expert. But he surrounded himself with people that were experts.
Yeah, that guy's gonna have a star someday if he figured it out that early.
Yeah. So,
you don't often see the butter bar come through and be like, "Hey, I don't know anything." It was like, "Good, we're not giving you a map."
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think makes us stand out in process optimization and efficiency driven roles? Because I got a good idea. I'm curious about your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of the members on our team right now. But being able to be, especially process optimization, like we're going to see it differently than what other people will, because we're always looking for that better way to do something. Like, hey, like it might be easier to go this direction, work smarter, not harder, right? And then being able to do different tasks, being able to like take them tasks down. I don't know about you guys on the call and girls on the call, but like when I was in the military, everything was a checklist. Like when we was doing nuclear convoys, we had a checklist to check out MBGs and weapons and just everything. Like we had boxes that we had to check out. So being able to put it down into a process standpoint, and then in a checklist, and then be able to go back and look at that. How can we, optimize this process to run more smoothly? I think that's where military veterans in general stand out to me in business. They're gonna look at the whole picture, put it in a task list, and then go figure out the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the E4 Mafia and Chambers jokes aside, those guys usually figure out a way to get the job done with the least amount of effort. The business side, that could save you money as long as you're not screwing things up. But I mean, with AI and technology coming, how do you see that affecting what you do with optimization and efficiency, or even, unfortunately, job elimination?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think, I know everybody is nervous about the AI with the job elimination. I don't think it's going to be AI that takes the jobs. I think it's going to be people that know how to leverage AI that takes the jobs, right? So I think just being able to take in this new technology and look at it in a positive perspective, right? I know there's a lot of negativity in some different areas with AI, but if you can take that and use that to your advantage, because it's one of them things that it's such a cool world. And I'll use some of the software. I see some of these UX designers and stuff on this call, like some of this stuff now. If you can write a process and you have a dream of like building this business, right? You can put this down on paper, or you can put this down in a document, and you can build it. You can do anything. So you need to look at it like that. You don't need to look at it like, oh, it's going to replace my job. You need to look at it, learn it, and then go in and be the best at it. You know what I mean? Because I think, we use it constantly every single day on how to do different things, whether it's I'm going in here and, evaluating usage on items to cut costs in businesses. We can go in, we've been into multiple different places where we've saved hundreds of thousands of dollars by identifying inefficiencies in vendor managed inventories. Just something simple like that, to where you can come in and identify, different things within the business and go save the customer a lot of money. So you leverage it to your advantage and start learning, not just one. Don't just learn Chat GPT 5 or 4. Go out and learn, all these different AI platforms, Claude, all these different things like that, to where you can become an expert and know where they fit in. Because some of them are good at coding, some of them are good at being able to manipulate data. Some of them are good at prompt, when you prompt it well to work out, different strategies. Like, you got to know what AI you're using for what.
Makes sense. So let's talk about VetConnect, the entrepreneurship side of things. So tell us about VetConnect.
Yeah. So Vet Connect is it's a platform. It's currently still in the development phase right now, but currently this platform is going to help veterans connect veterans with jobs, not only in the traditional format but staffing. It's going to help people with educational opportunities. It's going to connect people with health and wellness opportunities to where they can connect. And actually, it's when you actually set up your account, you're actually going to be you're going to have a professional HIPAA compliant communications platform, so you can actually schedule all your health appointments, all these different things through this platform. It's going to have different AI basically background bots that's going to be able to help you, like whether you're building out programs like in project plans, if your business plans, all this different stuff. There's a lot of different facets that I won't go into extreme detail here, but before it launches, but it's something that's really, I think, is lacking. Just exactly, y'all are doing an amazing job at Seven Eagle here. And just programs like this are just going to continue to help veterans, because really, veterans, I feel like, are really lacking these different tools to help them, really help them compete among their peers instead of, the rest of the world. So that's my goal, is to kind of level that playing field with this software platform.
That'd be cool, man. So, I mean, what gaps do you see in how vets transition their careers now?
I mean, I've seen all kinds of stuff, like not obviously within our company, no, like, he's doing a lot of the hiring and we have processes in place, but I've seen a lot of this stuff that, obviously not all veterans are equal, right? That's just like with any with people in general. But I think sometimes, people get intimidated by veterans. I feel like they come out with this experience, they come out with motivated, because generally, generally, basically, it seems to me that military members are a lot more motivated than normal, everyday life civilians. So I feel like some people can find that. I feel like some people can find that, intimidating. So it's one of them things that I don't think, if you were at a job and you can tell that somebody is you're interviewing, you can tell that that's an issue, then that's not the place where you need to be anyways. I'll just say that right up front, because you'll be able to tell pretty quickly if they don't like that motivated vibe. And if you're a motivated person, do not draw back your motivation because somebody doesn't like it. So that's not the job for you. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, when the person in the cubicle next to you says, "Whoa, dial it back! You're making us look bad."
No, you keep pushing forward, because that's what's gonna set you apart. And the people that are saying that are the people that that they're just intimidated because your motivation and drive. So
yeah. Don't
you just keep pushing.
My coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, who's curious about the entrepreneurship thing? Where
Yep.
do you suggest they start?
So I think the way I did it, and this has been going on, and really I'll go back again. Leaders, my leaders at Fuse Solutions have been amazing. Jen and Jay, I can't say it enough. I feel like they have really been a life-changing part in my life. But leaders, you got to surround yourself with people that you want to be. Key.
I agree.
Right? If you're an entrepreneur and you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you want to be successful in business, you have to surround yourself with successful people. This is not going out on the Friday night, getting drunk and doing all these different things, right? Like, that's not how you're going to become successful. You have to surround yourself with people that are motivated, that are driven, that are wanting to go out and achieve things. And that's what I was surrounded. I was so blessed, really, because I got out in January and I had about a month, time frame to where like I said, it was a God thing, to where I was putting in my applications. And I got a call, and just like I've been with the company ever since. But like, I was surrounded with leaders that were motivated, and they wanted you to go out and do entrepreneurship things. They pushed you to do that. They wanted you to succeed in that. And once you surround yourself with these people, you will be able to sit down. You'll be able to make business plans. You'll be able to take action on these business plans, and then you'll be able to develop out and start achieving these different these different cycles. You break it out into a phased approach. Look at, hey, phase one is just developing what I want to do. If you're an entrepreneur, like what are the things that I want to accomplish and change the world with? And don't think small, think big, because we got AI now, so anything can happen, right? So.
That's some big think right there. Hey, Michael, go ahead.
All right, Dylan, thanks for coming on. So one of the things I want to ask, because of the things that you're saying with making things good and all that.
Yep.
Is your company remote?
Is it remote? It right now, like, I mean, like, are you talking about like with the company I'm with right now, or the company that I'm building? The company I'm with right now, like it's not remote. So there's definitely flexibility. There has been flexibility with the company. When times, like I said, the leaders, they've been great. They've worked with me when I need to be offsite. But currently right now, no, this is not a remote position.
All right. And then for this, I'm going to see if I can be a SkillBridge thing with you guys.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit and I lost you. I'm trying to find your face.
SkillBridge thing with you guys.
Yeah, so we are not a part of SkillBridge. Maybe that's something I can look into talking to my leadership about. Like I said, I do think that that's an amazing. What's Seven Eagle? There's a couple of companies that I've seen. I know there's a financial fintech firm, GFI, that I've seen that they recently become a part of SkillBridge. And then also Seven Eagle. Seven Eagle is the first company that I've actually ever interacted with that was a part of SkillBridge.
So, so with that, so Seven Eagle has the SkillBridge program. Would your company be willing to take on some SkillBridgers that are with Seven Eagle, or to come on with you guys to help, especially with the IT? Because we got a lot of IT guys in here.
Yeah. Okay.
And, is that something that would be an open conversation?
That's something like at the moment right now, I know we're not really growing in that direction. Now, if I have open positions, that's something I will definitely connect with the Seven Eagle program to see if that's something we can open up to you guys for sure.
Yeah, we'll chat about it. We'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, how do you, you came out, you had to change the language and stuff. So, what are some of the things you've seen where, veterans need to change some of their linguistics in addressing, hey, here's my value, military employers? What do you think did it for you, other than I will figure it out?
Yeah, right. No, I think so. I know, especially if you're coming in from being I've noticed with, say, higher leadership, say you was an E7 or, so senior NCO or an officer, knowing that, obviously being in the military, I know that we've all had a point of disgruntledness, right? And everybody's been there. And I think we all still go through phases of that, even in corporate life, right? Of being disgruntled. Knowing that if you was in a disgruntled state when you got out of the military, being able to put that off to the side and knowing that this is a fresh start, you know what I'm saying? To where you're not rolling to another organization with that same habit or same disgruntledness left over for something in the past. I think that's huge. I think that's one of the first things a veteran can learn. By going into a corporate world, because you want to build these and cultivate these relationships. You don't want to, push somebody away. You want to come into an organization to be motivated, be positive, and push them, if you did have any kind of disgruntled, from the military service, and push that off to the side, because it is hard. I mean, it's a transition. Yeah. It's a transition time frame. I mean, it takes a long time, and I still have my tendencies from the military too, but it's just one of the things that it takes time, and you learn how to cultivate them relationships.
Yeah, you gotta, as they say, let it go, let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah, move on, flip the switch, and get on a new chapter. So, how do you think we could be, avoid being pigeonholed into roles that don't fit our long-term goals? Do you think it's just like, hey, just because it's a big paycheck doesn't mean that's where you want to be?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that right there is probably one of the most key things, right? Is say you are in a firm or something that you are making a large amount of money, and it's hard, right? I mean, when you hit that paycheck, that's a huge accomplishment, by the way, if any of y'all are, if there is somebody that's in that position, right? So that's a huge thing, first of all. But being okay with taking a risk. Like, I mean, remembering back to like when you joined the military, when you was in boot camp, or like before you went to boot camp, you took one of the biggest risks that only 1% of the population take, right? That was one of the biggest risks that you could take, is getting out of your comfort zone, going to maps, getting on that bus or plane and going down to going down to your base and then going to your boot camp. So going back to that mindset of just the same as you as being comfortable, right? Just like you was being comfortable in this position with being in the military, and hey, I'm an E5, I'm a staff sergeant, I'm having it's a pretty chill life. Like, I have my troops, I'm taking care of them. To go into stepping out of that comfort zone and go in the civilian world. Well, in the civilian world, you can then become comfortable with like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm making, this is what I want. I'm okay with this. Remembering back to where you made that step, getting into the military and getting out of the military. To me, that's what I've, luckily I haven't had to, move jobs or anything like that. But that's, if I was thinking of it like that, I would have to go back to being okay with taking myself out of that comfort zone again. And keep putting yourself into, whether it's physical fitness, whether it's different things like that, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone in different areas of your life.
Yeah, it's tough. That paycheck's really nice, but if you're going into work loathing it,
yes,
or
you can't do
that. It's not going to get you where you want to go. That's no bueno either, because that eats away different ways.
Yep.
I have definitely seen it. I mean, I've seen guys making several $100,000 a year, and they hate life every day.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No, it tears you up. I mean, I imagine you probably sat in on plenty of interviews now. So what's a common mistake you see veterans do when they're in an interview or, looking for a job?
Oversharing. And that's with everybody. There's, and that's just with everybody, because sometimes like, it's just better to stick to your questions that you're being asked. You answer it as fully as possible and move on to the next set. And like I said, in a professional manner. I've seen too many times where somebody, because it can happen to where, you think you feel comfortable with the person interviewing, and it might, be kind of a tactic or whatever it is. But in my interviews, I've seen that people have overshared, and it's like, you probably shouldn't have said that in an interview. But I mean, that's just not just for veterans. That's just interviewing in general. But I think, focusing on, like what I've seen, focusing on the questions, answering them appropriately, and then moving on to the next. And then ultimately, if the interview is a good interviewer, they're going to be, they're not going to make you feel nervous. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to like bring you in and want to have you sweating. I mean, when I interview, I am not looking to do that. Like, I'm looking to build a relationship, you know what I mean? Up with you, ask certain questions. I don't, not necessarily overshare or anything like that, but, have like, hey, this is my specific outline of questions. This is what I need to know, but I'm not here to make you sweat. Like, you know what I mean? That's not okay. This is not an interrogation. This is an interview to where we can get to know each other a little bit more. And then if you're the right fit, then we can move to the next round, right? Like, just, make sure and just read the interview room before, you start answering, questions off the wall.
Yeah, you might not want to mention how you duct tape the new airman to the telephone.
Yeah, right. You don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's let that go again.
Yeah.
So what's the best way that you've seen vets showcase the leadership skills to employers so far?
Yeah. So we had he is with Raytheon now, but he's a great project manager and program manager. And he was a major in the Air Force, or in the Army, but he was just very good at customer service. And a lot, obviously most of the military service before self, right? We gain these, like, especially like me, being a cop at one point, right? Being able to de-escalate situations, being able to, when you're customer facing and know that you're going to have these, aggravated customers, being able to de-escalate a situation that doesn't need to be escalated. that's one of the things that I've really seen veterans being able to do is like take a situation and it might have got heated, or have a heated customer, and being able to bring that back down to a level of like, hey, this is what's going on, this is how we're going to fix it, and given a clear timeline of things, will de-escalate a situation and get everybody more comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been in that
Yes.
that situation where there's nine people angry at you, like, step back, figure out the situation before we start swinging at each other or firing anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take back and assess the situation before we move and make a decision.
Yeah, I like the way you put that because I never really thought of it that way. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we've all been in that position, whether you've been in 3 years or 30.
Yep.
It happens. So I mean, you obviously did a pretty good job of it. You're here. So I mean, how do you reframe the lack of civilian experience as a veteran when you roll into that interview? What are some techniques, avenues that you recommend or you've seen work great, or ones that are like, oh, don't do that?
No, yeah, I think like one thing I'll recommend, say if you're going into an interview or you're going into a job role, I think you should be able, because again, just because you haven't done something specifically, right? Like, I mean, unless it's like being a doctor or like maybe like coding or something like that.
Yeah.
But, it's one of them things, you need to try to associate what you've done in the military, be able to break what your military goals are, like what you did in the military to your civilian role is huge. Being able to associate that, because, obviously most interviews, when they're going to bring you in, they're going to ask you, how do you find yourself a fit into this position? Like, how could you associate with your military experience to the current role? Being able to answer that, like, you really need to know the role that you're going into the interview for and how you can associate what you did in the military to that role. I think that's huge. And if you need help with that, there's many tools out there that can, break down, just because I was in nuclear convoys, right? Well, it's transportation. Transportation is a part of logistics, right? Like you said, there's many things to where you're talking about multiple different parts, multiple different SKUs. Well, guess what we had? We had weapons, we had ammo, we had radios, we had, all these different things that are still in the line of supply chain and logistics that, that you might not, that you can relate to a different job role in the civilian world. So you need to look at what you're doing or what you did and to what you want to do, and then, tie it together.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, I mean, almost all of us are deployed at some point and had to, go through all that stuff. So we've been around it, but obviously we weren't, air trans or logistics folks, but just the exposure to it gives you some of the idea how complicated the whole mess can be.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, what advice do you give to, the folks who've been out there applying, asking this, that, and the other thing, keep getting overlooked? What do you usually see as the limb facts there?
I think too, and it's like I said, it's hard. It's hard right now. But I think obviously, one, stay motivated. Two, look at is the corporate world, or is this something that I actually want to do, or would I be more motivated if you could probably, I mean, I'm sure like applying to 70, 80 jobs, like I think before I got this position, even in 1 month time frame, I think I applied to 70 something positions, and I didn't even I never got a call back from any of them except for where I'm at right now. So that, again, God thing. So but being able to, like, one, stay motivated. Two, take a step back and like look at obviously your resume, look at what you're trying to, accomplish and what job roles you're looking into, right? Make sure it's a match. If you're trying to apply for a project management position and you don't have project management or haven't written your resume in that right way, you probably need to go back and, revise your resume. If it's asking for 10 years of project management experience and you have 10 years of something else but never have mentioned project management, is probably not a fit. And two, just being able to understand that it's okay to like maybe look at even starting your own business, because I've seen some interview processes, especially for these Fortune 50 companies, take 8 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could have started a whole business by 8 months, you might would have been successful. Still apply, but maybe you need to start your own business.
Yeah, I've had those on the recruiting side.
Yep.
When I was doing that, where it's like you say you need this person with this expertise, but you keep interviewing other folks saying, yeah, this person could do the job. I want to see the next best thing that comes along. It's like, you've had 3 resumes in 3 months. I mean, Take the risk. Yeah, some just drag their feet and it's maddening.
Yeah, and even look at staffing. I mean, staffing agencies, there's nothing wrong with staffing agencies. Especially, I've seen a big thing too, even with the people that I've known, is that my last base was Langley, Virginia. So I know a lot of people have stayed where they was stationed at because they feel more comfortable because they can't find that they'll try to find jobs locally, right? But look at staffing companies that to where you can go out to these different areas and they can have some of these staffing companies can even have you a job within 48 hours just to get started, just to get you in the area. And then you can pursue that, but at least you got some money coming in, and it makes you feel a little bit better, right? And even them staffing roles can lead into a full-time role at the company, right? And I've seen it happen many times, and I think a lot of people overlook that because they want to go work immediately for like a Lockheed Martin or Raytheon or Boeing or any of these other companies, right? But maybe look at a staffing position there or a contract role that they have.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time because they're usually going to take the contractors first for full-time positions because like a SkillBridge, they know what they've got.
Yep.
They've seen you working for 4 or 6 months, 2 years or whatever. And I hired lots of people like that.
Yep.
Like, hey, we're ready to bring her over, so we're going to put this job advertisement out, but make sure that resume makes it to me.
Yeah.
Because every day is a job interview then.
Oh, and I mean, you're out there. I mean, it's based on performance, right? If you're a performer, and historically you are a performer, then that would be right up your alley. Go out there and perform, and more than likely lead to a different, to that job.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you recommend for all the setbacks out there?
Keep pushing, keep going. Don't drink your water, caffeine and ibuprofen, and keep going. that's what you have. Yep.
Fixes everything. So, I mean, how can we think beyond just landing a job and focusing on building a career? Because obviously that's what you're doing if you haven't thought of it that way.
Yeah, no, I think that look at like your continuous look at it like a continuous improvement effort, right? So the gym, like if you go to the gym and you're continually, the gym going there every day or however many days a week, right? That's a continuous improvement effort, right? You're trying to better yourself, you're trying to better your health, you're trying to stay, healthy. Think of it like learning, right? I like I said, I'm kind of a nerd, so I love school, right? So I've got 2 master's degrees and I'm in my doctorate program, and especially if you're transitioning out, I mean, leverage that TA while you can, I guess, as much as possible. But it's one of them things that, when you're out of the military, it doesn't stop. Your learning doesn't stop. It should only increase. Like you're going to go, good luck, Aaron. I see that comment there, but you're going to, keep going, to look at educational opportunities. Okay, let me, what degree path or what certification is going to set me apart? What AI programs are going to be out there? Because it's going to happen. I mean, if you're not into AI, you need to be. So if you need to learn what's out there. There's AI courses out there. I mean, even if it's purchasing your own ChatGPT 5 account, you know what I mean, and just learning it and learning how to prompt and learning how to make the AI platform work for you to solve problems. That's going to set you. That's a step in the right direction to set you apart from people that are not going to do that. And that's what the military members are good at, is setting themselves apart because they're already a part of that 1%. So you're already doing it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, makes sense. So, I mean, what do you think the best habits you kept from the military are that keep you going, and what do you see as the worst habits?
I think the best is probably just that motivation. Like I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm a pretty motivated guy. Like I'm pretty hyper all the time. I'm like my team members probably see that too. They probably want to throw a water bottle at me sometimes, but that's okay, right? But that motivation, I think, is huge. I think the worst is having been disgruntled, you know what I mean, before, like because you go through phases. I feel like you surge, like super motivated, super ready to go do it, and then you kind of start coming back off that surge, and you start getting a little disgruntled, and then you just. I think that's the one of the worst habits, but I've been able to keep myself out of that most of the time, right? But know that that's okay. And know that you probably need to you probably need to take a step back, take a break, take a day off. You know what I mean? It's okay to take a day off and take a walk instead of, applying for jobs constantly. So that's how I've kept myself, is just take a step back and take a breath.
Yeah, sometimes going for that hike in the woods to decompress for a few hours is the best thing you can do, because you stop rattling in your mind as much, and you get a little bit more clarity, a little bit of oxygen, fresh air. It goes a long ways. I know that does the trick for me, or just do a straight labor and just, splitting wood or something just to get the frustration out. So this is my last one. So if you had a piece of advice, for the folks just starting to transition today, what would it be?
Last piece of advice I'd give is again, surround yourself with good people, motivated people that support what you're doing, that what you're trying to do. Luckily, I'm blessed and have a good team, you know what I mean, that support the cause, right? But yeah, surround yourself with good people and just keep that motivation up is really, because if you get around negative people, it's just not going to help you at all. So, and it's hard, especially, some of them negative people, I've found out it could be a family member. It could be somebody, it could be somebody that's close to, and it's hard, right? Because you want, it's, somebody you're close to, but, just being able to maybe even communicate to that person, like, hey, listen, like, that this is not okay. And this is why, because, I'm trying to achieve this, and your negativity is not helping. So if you can separate yourself into a positive environment, you're going to achieve all kinds of different things.
Yeah. I mean, we're all sponges in some fashion. And if all that's around you is toxic, that's going to start leaching into you. I can't remember who said it, but basically, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. You just want to keep going, keep hanging out with the losers that kept you in place. It is what it is. And I mean, it goes on everywhere in the world all the time. Some people see it, some people don't. Because, you see people nowadays, especially just the way business can move, a guy can go from, hey, I just came here from Canada, to I'm the richest person on earth. By putting the work in, because, he wasn't hanging around with some dude smoking dope all day.
Exactly. You gotta keep yourself with that positive, that positive work environment or positive environment at home. And if you can't, then sometimes, take a step back, take a walk, get from behind the computer, don't play the Call of Duty so much, and go get some.
Had that opportunity.
Yeah, right.
It didn't work out. You're done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So unless anybody's got any questions, I would, say, hey, if you got any questions, now's the time to fire them up. But I would ask you, what are your closing thoughts? Looks like we're good. So what are your closing thoughts for the rest of the day, Dylan, before I let you get going?
No, I just want to thank you again for having me, and Seven Eagle for having me. Team, I just want to thank you all so much for having me on the call. I hope that I helped in some way, motivate you guys to keep going, because I do think each and every one of you can go and do anything that you want if you put your mind to it. So, I mean, and that's the facts. It is what it is. Like I said, you've already been a 1%er, so continue to be that 1%er, right? Don't let that motivation go. Yep. F.E. Warren, that's exactly where that's the old stomping grounds there.
I just saw you shiver a little bit.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Hey, Dylan Fuse, Dylan Westmoreland Fuse, thank you very much.